united black and white laborers at what was then the world's largest sawmill complex.
Again, my mutual Chris, a phenomenal educator from Louisiana. Bogalusa is not far from where I grew up. I'm in Tangipahoa Parish in a town called Hammond. We used to play Bogalusa High School in football and volleyball. I used to travel out there to go play volleyball. That whole place has a huge sawmill, right? It's been there forever, and you smell it when you come in the town, right? It's an old mill town. Nobody there's ever had any money. I didn't know a lot about it, but I knew it was like a mill town, like a plant kind of town. Again, you guys know my entire scope of focus is Louisiana history. Every day, Chris tells me something that I don't know. It is amazing because, again, I'm not working as a history teacher in Louisiana. I'm a librarian elsewhere right now, right? So with my own research, it only goes so far in specific areas. But a black labor organizer organized black and white laborers at the sawmill to overthrow. Go watch that. It's always been possible. And particularly when I talk about the circumstances of Louisiana, black and white folks have been in the same trenches for a very long time because folks who are considered white now would not have been 100 years ago, right? So like when I talk about the fact that when my grandfather was in school, they beat him until he spoke English, and that other people thought he wasn't good enough because he was brown, because he was darker skinned. Today he's considered white because and he will tell, like for the longest time he said, I'm not Cajun, I'm French. I'm not Cajun, I'm French. Of course you would say that when you like, the reason I take pride in it is for that, because I only know how much he went through, but I will not let my ancestors suffer in vain in the same fate, because I'm the one that found out that we were descendants of enslaved folks. And telling him that, he was like, okay, that, it made enough sense. Like, I kind of put the pieces together. And then I told him, I said, and on the other side, it's the English, it's the colonizers. He goes, ugh, we couldn't add anything else. But it goes to show when Louisiana became more anglicized, like early 1900s, Teddy Roosevelt, one nation, one people, one language, when it became anglicized, the passe blanc, the white passing, had to get jobs. The black codes were still rampant. The one-drop rule still rampant. I look the way I do, maybe 100 years ago, you could, and also folks back home, it's different when you're out and about somewhere else, but folks back home, I go somewhere, they're like, you're Cajun, you're Creole. Who you kin to? You know the Duplesses? You kin to the Lamberts? Who you kin to? Like, we recognize one another, right? And there are various aspects to our culture that transcend skin color because, again, I am multiracial, multi-ethnic. There is everything within me. And I find that beautiful. And that is the case with most folks in Louisiana, right? Aside from, there are folks whose families came here to own plantations. And those folks are still in power today. You saw Jeff Landry's about to give tax breaks to millionaires, and people who make under $22,000 a year are going to have mega tax increases. My grandparents on a fixed income, they don't work, they're old. Papa's disabled. He got drafted to Vietnam. Can't work like, do you understand? Like, but those are the people that need to be taxed. Those are the people who make 50 cents a year too much to be on food stamps. Right? Right? So when that happens, when people in power do that to make you say, well, how come they got food stamps and I didn't? Not that my grandparents are like this, but one can make the argument, well, why do they have this and I don't? And that is the wedge that is driven between. And that is what has been happening forever. Please go back and watch this video. Labor organizers in the South have changed this country since day one. I keep saying this. The Montgomery bus boycott did not happen in Portland. The people suffering are the people that most people write off. Everybody in the South's the same. They all suck. They're all lame and ugly and inbred and this and that. And you don't care. The children that hear that, children like me who heard that, you're lucky I'm a crazy bitch and I don't fucking stop. I don't know. My mom says that's my God-given power, is I don't shut the fuck up and I don't let anybody tell me my business. And honestly, I will defend any fucking person who needs it. It is asinine. It is asinine the way that people are treated for no fucking reason. And I know what it's like to struggle, and I know what it's like to have nothing, and I would never wish that on another person. It's fucking crazy when you hear like, well, I suffered, so you have to suffer. Suck my fucking dick. You're a piece of shit. If you don't want, even if they're not your children, if you don't want to make a better world for the children coming into the future, that tells me everything I need to know about you. And I'm not saying you have to go out there and be the head of every protest and activism. I'm saying in your community, if you know you can donate to a food bank and you've got $20 to donate to a food bank, do it so someone can eat. If kids are coming around selling chocolate bars so they can buy books, buy one chocolate bar. You know how excited I used to get when we would come around and I'm like, I'm sorry, I hate to do this. And they'd be like, I'm so happy to help you, baby. Here's $5. $5 to me now, working, is not a lot. I still struggle, but if I were to give that to a person who needs it more than me, I've been the person that needs it. I have been the person that was like, I know what it was like to go through shit like that, okay? If you are not the kind of person who wants to do whatever small thing they can to help others right now, get the fuck out of the way. You are an obstacle. You are an obstruction. If you want to bind your business so bad and not give a fuck about other people, go do it somewhere else. I'm not telling you have to fucking run the World Health Organization. I'm telling you not to be a fucking cunt.